Hey, I'm Coach Ashley, and I have Michelle joining me here today. And we just wanted to talk about some common mistakes in your leg programming. All right, so when we talk about leg programming, we say your plan of attack for when you go to the gym. And first things first, the most common mistake people have on leg day in their programming is not having one, right? They go into the gym and they're like, the gym's gonna tell me what I'm gonna do for programming today. Oh, the squat machine is open, the squat rack's open, I'm gonna do that. And then they go and they're gonna do maybe leg press. Oh, nope, leg press it's taken, I can't do that. And they kind of like go with the flow. Like there's no sense of direction. However, if you don't have a plan, like fail to plan to fail is pretty much my consensus on life. And especially when it comes to your programming and you are looking to build beautiful like sculpted legs or manly sculpted legs, whichever category fits you right now. But we did want to talk about the common mistakes in programming. And one of the most common ones that we were discussing before we started filming was variety. This huge thing about you have to have a different leg day every single time you have leg day, right? And it's like, what's the hottest trend on social media? Like, what's the Instagram influencer doing this week? And they throw it in there and they throw it in there. Oh, well, so, I saw Michelle doing this on Instagram, so I'm going to do it today. However, you've never done it before. You don't plan to do it the following week or the next week after that, right? So there is some good to having variety, of course, because we want to train the muscle in many different modalities and different fashions. And we want to train the muscle to kind of expect the unexpected as well. However, the bad is how do you get better at squats? You squat. If you squat once a week or once every 2 weeks, you're probably not going to get any better at squats. And we were just discussing this and Michelle was telling me, well, yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your squats and how like just having that squat every single week is improving your squat.
So have I mentioned that I do CrossFit? Did I mention that?
Guess what? If you didn't know she does CrossFit.
Did you guys know that I do CrossFit? So I like to do CrossFit, and one of the things that we do is like if we're working on back squats, we'll do like back squats once a week, and we'll vary the weight and go a little bit heavy with that. And then also maybe that week we'll work on front squat maybe later that week because you're still working on your squats. And then with CrossFit, it's overall body movement. So we're pretty much doing squats almost every day, but we're not doing heavy squats. We'll do, maybe 1 or 2 days of heavy squats, and then we'll do light squatting throughout the week. Again, it also kind of depends on your goal. Like CrossFit is going to make you look one way, whereas if you want to just sculpt something, you really need to practice that and do that more often and work on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, increase that variety. And she kind of hit the nail on the head as far as like, there's this huge misconception in CrossFit, right? Like if you don't CrossFit, people are like, oh, CrossFit. However, as a prior bodybuilder, and we were talking about this in the training patterns, like in normal bodybuilding training, you work in a horizontal training format. That means you're going to the big box gym or your gym at your apartment, and you're training 3 sets of squats by 10. That's very, very like basic right there. And then once you finish your squats, you're gonna move to your deadlifts, and there's no problem with that. However, there's importance in every training style, and I functional train, so basically functional training is CrossFit, and CrossFit is functional training, right? There are certain movements that I do not do in my functional training patterns, but however, again, talking about the squatting motion, I'm bending at my knees, I'm hinging at my hips, I'm focusing on the mobility, and I'm increasing that range and that repetition, so I'm getting better at it. And when you consistently add resistance to the muscle and adding that just good programming, adding the variety, whether it's a front squat, it's a back squat, it's a Bulgarian split squat, it's a split stance squat. There are many different squats, but you're hinging at the hips, you're bending at the knees, and you're performing that movement, you're going to get better at the movement. So
correct.
You have to, variety is good in training modality. However, it's not good when you're consistently having variety. When you're not consistently squatting every week. You're like, well, this week I'm just going to do hip thrusts and hamstring curls or deadlifts, and you're not focusing on functional movement patterns per se.
So practice makes it, I don't say the word perfect, practice makes it better.
Yes.
So you want to do it to get better. And going back to the whole, like CrossFit thing, if I want to train my legs, I have to follow a program.
Yes.
You can't just go all over the place, and as Ashley was saying, just walk into a gym and, well, this machine's open, so let me bounce over there, and this machine's open, let me bounce over there. You have to follow a program if you have the goal of wanting to get better legs and bigger legs, or sculpting your legs or leaner legs, whatever your goal is. So that's why your program would be great. I do overall stuff, but when I do bodybuilding and I change my goal, I have to follow a program. Because doing everything all over the place doesn't target the things that you really need to work on. So,
but you kind of talked about it already, because in my functional training too, we also have leg day.
Yep.
Like, so you just hit it. You said we train legs twice a week. Like, you still have leg day and you're still hitting it twice a week. So it's like, yes, we do functional train. We train our full body when we are doing like our metabolic burns or meta burns. However, we are still specifically training our legs and we're working those patterns. So like last week I squatted in my leg day. Chances are programming in my leg day this next week, I'm going to be squatting again. There might be some differences as far as like maybe last week I did lunges. This week I'll probably do a hip thrust, working different modalities. However, the basics are the basics are the basics. How do you get better at the basics and then improve on that variety is mastering those first, right?
And consistency.
Consistency
with
too.
a program.
Having a program.
You have to have something in mind of what you're going to do, and you can't just kind of bounce all over the place and then forget what you did the week before because, well, that machine's taken, so I'm going to bounce over here. Like consistency, following a program, making sure that you're getting there and doing it. Sometimes increasing the weight or decreasing the weight. All of that plays into how you want to sculpt your legs.
Yeah, and then, not just talking about that, but we kind of talked about recovery already too. But we did a whole video on already the myth of stretching and flexibility and common mistakes as well. But recovery, so that doesn't just mean the recovery post-workout, but also means pre-workout, right? Priming your body for performance, getting that mobility in, but the recovery post-workout too. And again, it's included in your programming. You have to program recovery in. It's not just like I do it some days, I don't do it some days. Like in recovery, it could be programming in recovery days.
Even rest days.
Rest days, recovery days, like that is a part of programming. So if you're looking to build your muscle mass, you have to have a program for the week, right? And even if that includes upper body, lower body, whatever that looks like, if you're looking to build your lower body, you should be hitting lower body every 2 to 3 days, no more than 3 days in between. That study came out, and I believe it was 2019 by Dr. Bill Campbell at USF's sports medicine lab, and he proved that if you want to build a muscle group, you hit that muscle group every 2 to 3 days. If you go longer than 3 days, you're back at square one when you're adding that resistance training to the muscle. You want to get it right before it's recovered, and you hit it again.
Hit it, rest, hit it,
rest. Hit it, rest. I mean, that's kind of what we do in functional fitness, right? We have leg day, but you better believe by Saturday, we're probably doing some squats. We're doing some front squats. I mean, it's just all inclusive incorporating. But last but not least, I mean, if you're struggling with programming and you're like, this is a lot, like I don't want to program. I don't want to have a program. I don't know about variety. I don't know about how to specify my workouts. I don't even want to do recovery. I don't want to think about it. I have a solution for you. I built an entire program for you to do this. It's my 21 days Sculpt Your Legs programming. And guess what? I wrote it out for you. I incorporated your recovery days. I incorporated your mobility, your warm-up, your dynamic warm-up, priming your body for performance. I included variety as well as you're going to see some very similar movements, but I keep you engaged throughout it as well. And I also had some upper body. So I know I'm sculpting your legs. However, I added some extras for you guys, and I included some upper body and ab work in that as well. If you guys are interested, I know you are interested because you're watching this video.
I'm interested. Tell me what to do. I don't want to think about it. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
I know you're interested because you're watching the programming video. Go ahead, check that link down below. It's 21 days, Sculpt Your Legs. You're going to catch me there, and we're going to do 3 workouts a week, and we're going to hit it top to bottom, left to right. We're going to include recovery days in it, and I'll see you guys there.